I'm starting my growing season early this year. Usually I will start my seeds on February 14th, mostly because I love gardening, but also because it's an appropriate time to start seedlings here in Wichita, Kansas. This year I've decided I'm going to start them on January 21st. January 21st is the end of the Persephone. So I decided I would celebrate by putting seeds in. Now, you can see I have a hoop house. And so that hoop house affords me some protective cover for my my new day to start seedlings. Notice the onions and leeks that I have in my hoop house. Those onions and leeks were not started yesterday. I did not seed them yesterday. They were actually seeded on September 6th of last fall. Now, the reason why I say that is because I want to talk to you about the 3 different elements that are going to limit plant growth. The first one is extremely obvious. Time. Time is going to limit plant growth in the fact that all of you knew that I was not planting those seeds yesterday. And so plant growth is limited by time. Even children understand that. The next thing is temperature. Temperature is very simple. Most gardeners and most people would understand that temperature is going to limit plant growth. Realize though also plant growth can be limited by too low of a temperature and also too high of a temperature. The third thing that we're going to talk about though is what I was really wanting to communicate today, and that is something called the Persephone. The Persephone is something that you could Google. I'm not going to waste your time telling you the mythological explanation of this, but you could Google it. It's interesting. But as far as growing is concerned, the Persephone is the time in the year in which we are going to experience or get to have less than 10 hours of sunlight. So the third thing, the third one, the one that's I believe is the most important one, the one that we can kind of bet on year after year, is that limited sunlight. Now, sunlight is how a plant obviously receives its energy, and how the energy flows of an ecology is going to be really based upon sunlight. So this is a bit of an experiment to start this early. I highly suggest that if you do not have a head house or a hoop house or a greenhouse, that you just stay patient. As we get further away from the Persephone, our sunlight increases, and so does our temperature. So if you put temperature and sunlight increasing, you're going to exponentially shrink the amount of time that you need for your plants to grow. In other words, if you start your tomatoes in, let's say, March, you're going to wait until March 1st, and someone else like myself starts mine February 1st. Realize that I'm not going to be harvesting tomatoes a month earlier than you are. The exponential increase in sunlight and temperature are going to shrink your time to the point to where you'll catch up. All right, you won't catch up altogether, but you'll catch up enough to where it doesn't really matter. It won't make a big difference. And actually, here in Wichita, Kansas, you're probably better off waiting to put in all of your stuff later, because we have some, what shall we say, odd weather in the spring. So hey, I'm looking forward to visiting with you more. Thank you for taking a look at this video. If you have any questions, please click on the link below and shoot me an email or a message. Happy gardening.